All right, going to do a little A6 overview. This is on the C5. Now the C5 ran from 1998 in the sedan all the way up to 2005 in the Audi Allroad. They held it over, but the sedan actually ended in 2004. Now the original ones like this one before the revisement came with a different rear. You'll see the license plates around, and what will happen is also only this side will come on for the rear fog lights, and that was the law, of course, in Germany and everything else back then, where they didn't want the both coming on. Now in 2002 it revises, the back bumper changes, you could actually see the exhaust coming out the back, so that's one thing. You know, the car definitely has a lot of features to it. Safety triangle, you have the ski pass, about a 64, well actually 70-30 split for the rear seats. In here, a Bose audio system, excuse me, a 6-disc changer will go in here, and that's your little toolkit if it has that option. Here's the Bose, and then there's the net, and even in here, these were for CDs. You could throw CDs in there to hold them for your rear CD player, which was an option, or, you know, some people, you could take them out and put them in, no problem. But of course, CDs are obsolete, so. Has the locking there, and you could tell whether it's open or not because of the button there. It's in red, so right now, let's see, this one locked too. Yeah, oh no, this one is open. Yeah, it does have the red open, so that means it's open. Your ski pass. These also came with first aid kits. Most of them are gone by now. This one happens to have it. Bose, you could tell by the little badges. Rear heated seats. I mean, this car came with a lot of goodies. It has the airbags, sides, even in the shoulder here for the side impact. Now some of them would actually come with a option to have the rear have the airbag too, but that's pretty rare. You don't see that too much. Now things that go wrong with these, well, I'll show you right now. Especially in the older ones, these heated mirrors, they discolored a lot, unfortunately, and that also has to do with your rear view dimming at night. Owner's manual, you know, a lot of people are fucking stupid. They don't know that in here, let me see if I can get it in there, is where the owner's manual actually belongs, if it's not too thick with other junk. But a lot of people don't even realize that they have an owner's manual when there is. This one has the older stereo system in it, and you know, still a good audio system, you know, Audi Symphony, and then it would be Bose with the speakers or whatever. You know, some people even believe that the just straight Symphony was a better audio system. This one being in 01, they started to introduce the electronic stability program. Some people like it, some people don't. They felt that it interfered. Other common problems is right here, these cup holders, they're always an issue. It's stuck, and then this one is usually almost always broken. It was just a flaw. Mirrors, now this one doesn't have the folding mirrors. Later on, the knob gets changed over, it looks a little bit better. And the bigger audio system comes in. This is usually also a problem. The center armrest usually is always broken. On these older ones, like I said, the mirrors are usually the liquid crystal in there, or whatever's in there usually gets fucked up. Now, when looking at these, what are the common issues? Well, this particular one, as I'm seeing, obviously needs ball joints or something, or you know, control arms. And for some strange reason, this thing is rusting, which you usually don't see too much on Audis, but you know what? It happens. The car's getting older. The car's basically 16 years old. So, xenons, fog lights aren't working on this one. It does smell of oil. It's very common on these. This side's totally shot too. I don't know what somebody was doing. This is definitely neglect. But you could also see the ridges there in the brake discs, so that could be definitely, you know, this thing definitely needs a changeover. This one also has the bigger brakes to it, and what I mean by that, in 2002 was the last year of these brakes. Those are a 4-pad system from the S4, and had a bigger brakes, and then they switched over to a larger 2-pad system. Me, I like the 4. These can also break a lot of times, you see, and then it becomes a real problem. You have to kind of create something. Seems like somebody definitely changed something here. Yeah, they painted this. But you could smell the oil. Now the oil, that oil smell that comes, that's actually from not warming up the car. And what happens is that the gaskets actually start to leak because of that, because of bad maintenance. This car also has a slight sound of there's a exhaust leak somewhere. Actually, this turbo sounds pretty good. I doubt you could hear it. Maybe it was boosted up a little bit, this car. But I could tell that the front struts and shocks, they seem like they're very weak on this particular one. Liquid crystal on the inside is also a big problem, especially on these older ones. This one is kind of fading out a little bit. And you could also change through all the things, and you could even shut it off if you don't want to look at it. You know, that was all controlled from here. This one also has audio controls, and this one was set up for a phone from back in the day. Are these good cars? I mean, I've had so many. This was always my favorite, you know, out of all the Audis, the A6. I felt that this car was right over the A4 and the A8. This middle car was the car to be in. I've definitely driven these at super high speeds and had one with 25 pounds of boost. My Allroad all worked. This one has 140 on the clock. You know, you just have to do your maintenance, but you know, your biggest issue really is going to be that oil smell, and it just always seems to be there with the 2.7. It's an unfortunate thing. Another thing to let you know, after 2002, that was the last year of the memory seat for the passenger, and doesn't matter what model it is or whatever. This one has the nicer wood. You know, they had different seat packages, and it just, you know, they gave you a lot back in the day here with Audi. Stick shift, pretty rare, you know, but it's out there. It is, it isn't, you know. Sometimes these get stuck. This one's good. A lot of these seem to fade, mostly on the newer ones, 2002 and up. These buttons, this one's in great shape actually. It's very hard to find it where it's not whited out, and on the newer ones you'll see these whited out too. It starts to kind of like peel off a little bit, unfortunately. Automatics can suffer from needing what do you call it, torque converters and stuff like that. That's something you got to watch for. If you see a check engine light on, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to do with emissions. It could, believe it or not, mean that it needs a transmission on an automatic. So look at that, and if you see it, be wary of it. You know, another thing is, look, this one's up to date, at least with the oil change. You know, look for certain signs of the vehicle and just, you know, try to go over it. Would I purchase this car? No, just from the front end, you could tell that this car has not been maintained properly, unfortunately. And, you know, that's abuse and neglect. Yeah, they're doing the oil changes, but look at the front tires. They're so fucked up. There's about another 5 miles left on it. You can tell that the person isn't maintaining this vehicle properly. So don't always blame the vehicle. Blame the person that actually owns it. Look at them more so than the car. And that's very important to do. This is actually in good shape too. Sometimes they fade out a little bit too with the dot matrix in there. So this has just been an overview on a 98 to 2005 Audi C5.